Hi everyone, it's Tim and I'm at Australian Piano Warehouse today to give you a quick overview of some of the different types of keyboards and pianos that are out there. So I'm going to do a quick overview of what MIDI keyboards are about, what keyboards and synthesizers are, how they're different to stage pianos, how that's different to a digital piano, what an acoustic piano is, and what a hybrid piano is. Let's get started. Okay, so first up are MIDI controller keyboards, and this is an example. These are a little bit more complex than a MIDI controller. Generally, a MIDI controller is a really small keyboard, maybe 1 or 2 octaves, unweighted keys, and no onboard sounds or speakers or anything like that. All it's designed to do is plug into a computer so that you can manipulate software with it. So this is the simplest kind of keyboard that you can get, but completely not helpful if you're a piano student or a piano teacher. Okay, so the second type of keyboards that you're really likely to come across are what we just call a keyboard. So these tend to be really light. So this is an incredibly light instrument. It doesn't have a weighted action. You can see that the keys don't even necessarily look like piano keys. I can put my fingers underneath them. Although this one down the bottom does have more piano style boxy keys, you can see here. So synthesizers are great for getting kids started learning their instrument. The great thing is that they've got heaps of different sounds that they can play with, lots of different rhythms, and so that whole sound palette can be opened up to them really easily. So this is great, and you can see these are like $200 to $400, and you get a great functioning instrument. Great for beginners. Past about 6 months, you want to start speaking to parents about upgrading to something with a weighted action, but I have no issue starting a student with an instrument like this. So this is what I'd call a keyboard. So what do we mean when we're talking about a synthesizer? Well, back in the old days, these were the first of the digital keyboards and pianos. I remember listening to Jean-Michel Jarre when it was in the 80s, and he really pioneered the synthesizing of sound. And what that means is it generally tends to be a keyboard or a digital piano of some sort that has lots of ability to manipulate the sounds that are on board. And so you can see on this one, all of these are around modifying the sound and the release and decay and settings like that. And the same with this one here. So synthesizers, they tend to be a bit more expensive. These are $2,000 or $3,000. They tend to have quite nice weighted actions as well, so they feel great to play. And they start to border into the stage piano realm, which is the topic we're going to talk about next. But really for students, unless they're doing a lot of digital production and performing on stage and manipulating the actual sounds in the instrument, I wouldn't worry too much about needing to get a synthesizer like these. The Yamaha CP88 is a great example of what we call a stage piano. Now, as per the name, stage pianos are designed for gigging musicians who are playing on stage. So what you'll see here is that there's no speakers. You can't make any sound with this device unless you plug headphones in or you put it into an amplification system of some sort. So that's a really big thing that sets apart a stage piano from, let's say, any other digital piano, more like this one here, which has the speakers in it. Stage pianos, not really useful for pianists or students or piano teachers because, again, they're missing that output. So unless you're going to plug it into some kind of amplification system, which adds a whole lot of more expense and complexity, I wouldn't be worrying about a stage piano unless, of course, you do play at a lot of weddings or you're playing on stage and you're often using sound reinforcement systems. And so that brings us now to digital pianos. And as you can see, digital pianos come in all shapes, sizes, colours, and price ranges. The way I set apart a digital piano from a stage piano or a keyboard is that it will always have 88 keys, it will always have a weighted action, and it will always have some kind of wooden stand. So a lot of students, if they start playing on a keyboard and use one of those cross brace stands, the whole thing's really wobbly and it tends to be quite hard to play comfortably, particularly if it's on carpet. Whereas a digital piano, like any of these that are in front of me, they all have a strong, sturdy wooden stand. They've also tend to have 3 pedals, if not just 1 or 2. So that's another way that you can determine whether you're actually playing what I would call a keyboard, like the ones behind me that I showed you before, or something more like a digital piano. And I think for students, after, let's say, their first 6 months or so, or ideally right from the beginning, they should be heading towards a digital piano. And you can get great digital piano products from all the manufacturers for anything in that range of $1,500 to about $3,000, often with a stand, with the stand obviously, and often with a stool as well. So people more and more now are talking about hybrid pianos. So what's a hybrid piano? Well, it's exactly that. It's a combination between what we've just had a look at, the digital piano, and an acoustic, which we'll have a look at next. And the way they combine the two is that you've got what is predominantly a digital instrument, so digital sound reinforcement, digital sound creation, with, as you can see in the case of the Yamaha, excuse me, the Yamaha NU1X, we've got a fully acoustic action. And you can either get hybrids in grand piano style actions or like this one, an acoustic action. So this is the display model. They're not normally glass fronted like this one, but you can see here, this has got a full upright piano action in it, but it has absolutely no strings. So the great advantages of hybrid pianos, well, they're more portable because they're much lighter. You don't have to tune them, which is always a benefit. You do get different sounds, although the sound range and rhythm options and things like that don't tend to be nearly as comprehensive as synthesizers and keyboards. But I think for me, the great thing is you get the touch, the authentic touch of an acoustic instrument, because all the action's in there, while not having to worry about annoying your neighbors or getting piano tuners in. So this is what we call a hybrid piano, and both Yamaha and Kawai and Casio all make hybrid piano variations. And so that brings us to our last category of pianos, and that's the acoustic piano. And this, of course, is an example of a grand piano. With acoustic pianos, while they're fantastic, beautiful to play, they do take a lot more maintenance, they have more ongoing costs, they cost more to start with, and you need to have the space to store them as well. So I hope that overview has been useful for you. Let me know if you've got any questions, leave a comment below. Have you subscribed to this YouTube channel yet? If not, make sure you click the link on this page to do so. And while you're about it, make sure you check out our other links to other videos and also to my blog, where I've got lots and lots of great articles and videos and teaching manuals and lesson plans to help you in your teaching studio.